Okay, so have you seen those Temu ads? They're everywhere, right?
Yeah, hard to miss them.
With that jingle, you know, shop like a billionaire.
Oh, yeah, that one gets stuck in your head.
It really does. But catchy tunes aside, it got me thinking, what is Temu? And how are they offering these crazy low prices?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
So that's what we're diving into today with this blogwidow.com article to see if we can unravel the mystery behind this whole thing.
Sounds good.
All right, so Temu, this e-commerce platform that seems to be taking the world by storm.
It's definitely a fascinating story.
What is it? Fill us in.
Well, Temu was launched just last year.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, in 2022 by PDD Holdings. And they're the same company behind Pinduoduo,
Okay.
which is already a huge name in Chinese e-commerce.
So they're not exactly starting from scratch.
Right, they have some serious experience in this.
But their strategy, at least from the outside looking in, seems pretty different from what we're used to seeing from giants like Amazon.
Yeah, you could say that.
What's the secret to their success? Blogwidow calls it their secret sauce, and I gotta say, I'm intrigued.
Well, one of the biggest things is their pricing. They offer discounts of up to 90%.
90%.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when you compare it to other places.
Seriously, I mean, how is that sustainable? What's the catch?
Well, the key is their direct from manufacturer model.
Okay.
They've essentially cut out all the middlemen.
Ah, so they're going right to the source.
Exactly. By sourcing directly from the manufacturers, they can offer those deep discounts.
That's pretty brilliant, especially these days when everyone is looking for a bargain.
For sure.
But low prices alone wouldn't be enough, would it? To build a massive following so quickly?
Definitely not.
What else is Temu doing right?
Well, they've tapped into the power of data and algorithms in a really smart way.
So they're using data to figure out what people want, like predict.
Exactly. They use algorithms to analyze trends, predict demand, and curate their product selection. So it's like, imagine you see this cute phone case that everyone's talking about on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are Temu's already picked up on that trend, and they're going to feature similar phone cases on their platform.
So it's kind of like they're anticipating what you want before you even know you want it.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
It takes the guesswork out of shopping.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to feeling overwhelmed by all the choices online.
Oh, for sure.
But there's also this fun, kind of addictive quality to Temu, isn't there?
Absolutely. And you're picking up on another key part of their strategy, gamification.
Okay, tell me more.
So they've incorporated like game elements into the shopping experience.
Mhm.
Think spin the wheel discounts, referral bonuses, even group buying options.
That's very clever.
These features, they make it more engaging, but they also encourage people to spread the word.
Word of mouth marketing, but like on steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's that Super Bowl ad.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta confess, I've caught myself humming it more than once.
It's catchy.
It's impossible to ignore their marketing.
They've gone all out, from that jingle to influencer partnerships.
Everywhere you look, Temu.
Yeah, it's an aggressive approach, but it seems to be working.
And on top of everything else, they offer fast and often free shipping.
Right.
It's almost like magic. How do they make it work with those prices?
Well, it's not magic, but it is strategic.
Okay,
They've invested heavily in logistics and partnered with various shipping providers.
so it's a key part of their value proposition.
Exactly. In today's e-commerce, convenience is king.
So Temu has the prices, the products, the marketing, and the shipping.
It's a pretty powerful combination.
Blogwidow calls it a perfect storm. A combination of smart strategies timed perfectly to capitalize on current trends.
I think there's truth to that.
What do you think?
Well, they launched right as the post-pandemic e-commerce boom was in full swing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And pandemic, it forced a lot of people to shift to shopping online.
It did.
And Temu was ready.
They were positioned perfectly to capture that market.
They offered affordability and convenience when people really needed it.
Right place, right time.
And you could say that.
But building trust is essential too, especially for a new company.
Absolutely.
So how did they gain the confidence of consumers so quickly?
Transparency. From the start, they've been focused on clear pricing, easy returns, and a responsive customer support system.
So they're making it easy and reassuring for people to shop with them.
Exactly.
It sounds like they thought of everything.
It seems that way.
And Blogwidow also mentioned that they're constantly expanding their product range.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They started with fashion and home goods, but they've quickly moved into electronics, beauty products, even groceries.
Wow. So they really are trying to be a one-stop shop.
It seems so.
It's fascinating to see how quickly they're growing and adapting.
It really is.
And they're clearly not afraid to embrace technology.
Yeah, we've talked about the algorithms, but there's more.
What other tech innovations are they using?
Well, they're at the forefront of using technology to optimize operations, using AI and machine learning, not just for product selection, but for things like personalizing the experience, predicting future trends, and even managing their logistics network.
It's amazing how technology is shaping the way we shop.
It really is.
So it seems like Temu has a winning formula. But as with any company growing this fast, there are bound to be challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What potential bumps in the road do you see for Temu?
Well, the e-commerce world is incredibly competitive. They're up against some big names.
Yeah, like Amazon, Walmart,
Right, and there are so many specialized players, too.
so many.
And then there's the constant pressure to innovate and stay ahead of the trends.
Because what works today might not work tomorrow.
Exactly.
True, true. But on the flip side, there are also some exciting opportunities, wouldn't you say?
For sure.
What are some of those?
Well, Blog Widow outlines several avenues. They could enhance their logistics, expand into new markets, even explore strategic partnerships or acquisitions. It's a dynamic landscape, and Temu seems to be approaching it with a lot of agility and ambition.
It's an incredible story, really.
Mhm.
From, relative unknown to global powerhouse in just a couple of years.
It is.
But the big question remains, can they sustain this focus on ultra-low prices?
Yeah, that's the big one.
Can they keep offering those deals without compromising quality or ethical practices?
That's what we need to explore further as we continue our deep dive into the world of Temu.
There are so many factors to consider.
Right, the impact on suppliers, on workers, the potential for regulatory scrutiny as they grow globally.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork,
Yeah, I think so.
but there's still a lot more to unpack. Join us as we delve deeper into these complexities and try to answer that question. Can they really keep those prices so low? And what might the consequences be?
Looking forward to it. So we were just talking about some of the potential challenges and opportunities
Yes, those challenges and opportunities.
facing Temu as they continue on this growth trajectory.
Yeah, it's like they figured out how to attract shoppers, but can they keep it up long term?
That's the question, isn't it?
Especially when you consider how much stuff they're selling
Yeah.
at those low prices.
And that's where things get interesting because those ultra low prices,
Right.
as enticing as they are for us,
Yeah.
they raise questions about what's going on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Blog Widow points out that Temu's model, going direct from the manufacturer,
Yeah.
it puts a lot of pressure on those suppliers
To keep costs down.
to keep costs down.
Because if Temu's making a profit
Right.
while selling things so cheap,
Yeah.
someone down the line has to be absorbing that difference.
Exactly. And that leads to concerns about things like
Like what?
fair wages, working conditions for the people making these products.
Right, so it's not just about whether or not Temu can sustain this model.
Right.
It's also about whether it's being done ethically.
Precisely. And that's a question that's becoming more important for consumers, too.
Right.
People want to know that what they're buying is made responsibly,
Even if they're getting a good deal.
even if they're getting a good deal.
That makes total sense.
Yeah,
I know I've become more conscious of where my clothes and things are coming from.
me too.
So what can Temu do to address these concerns?
Well, transparency is key.
Okay.
They need to be open about their supply chain,
Okay.
show they're taking steps to ensure ethical sourcing and fair labor practices.
So it's not just about saying they're doing the right thing. It's about proving it.
Exactly. It might involve independent audits, certifications, or even sharing more information with consumers about where their products come from.
So there's a lot to consider on the ethical front.
Definitely.
But there's also navigating regulations, right? I mean, they're in so many different countries,
Right, and that's another big challenge.
each with their own rules.
As they expand globally, they have to deal with regulations about product safety, import tariffs, data privacy,
So many things.
intellectual property, and it's always changing.
You don't want to end up on the wrong side of a trade dispute or get a huge fine
Yeah, exactly.
for not complying with the rules.
So they'll need a strong legal team and a deep understanding of international trade
For sure.
to stay on top of it all.
Okay, and then there's the competition.
Yeah,
We mentioned Amazon and Walmart, but there are also so many smaller retailers.
right.
And then there's social media platforms selling stuff.
It's more crowded than ever out there.
It is.
So Temu can't afford to just sit back.
They have to keep innovating.
They have to keep innovating, adapting to stay ahead.
Right.
Maybe that means new product categories, new marketing, even new technology that changes everything.
It's a good reminder that even the most disruptive companies can't just stop.
Yeah, they have to evolve to survive.
And Temu's future success might depend on how they use data.
Data, yeah, that's a big one.
We've talked about the algorithms, But Blog Widow says data is really central to their whole business model.
It is, yeah.
It's how they personalize the shopping experience, anticipate those trends,
Right.
optimize their logistics, and even figure out pricing.
Temu is a data-driven machine.
But all that data, it raises some concerns, doesn't it?
Of course.
I mean, what are they doing with all that information?
All that info about our shopping habits,
Yeah.
our
The
preferences,
online activity.
that's a crucial question.
Yeah.
One that they need to address openly.
People want to know their information is being used responsibly.
Right. Nobody wants to feel like they're being spied on.
Or that their data is being used in ways they didn't agree to.
Exactly.
And then there's the whole issue of algorithmic bias.
Right.
I mean, we've seen examples of these algorithms perpetuating inequalities or discriminating against certain groups.
Yeah, it happens often without anyone realizing.
So how can Temu make sure their algorithms are fair?
That's a tough one.
It is.
But it starts with being aware of the potential for bias and taking steps to avoid it.
Okay.
Things like auditing their algorithms, diversifying their data sets, maybe even some human oversight.
So it's a balance between the power of data and doing the right thing.
It is.
Okay, so we talked about ethics, regulations, competition, and data.
A lot to consider.
It seems like they have a lot on their plate.
We didn't do.
But can they keep those prices so low long term?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it has a lot of people watching closely.
It does.
There's no easy answer, but I think it comes down to a few things.
Like what?
Well, first, they have to scale their operations without compromising quality or ethics.
They can't let success go to their heads.
Right. They need to stay true to what got them here.
Okay.
Second, adaptability.
They got to keep innovating.
Right. The e-commerce world never stands still.
Never.
They need to anticipate and respond to those changes, experiment, find ways to stay ahead of the competition.
So basically, they can't let up, even if they do become number one.
Right.
Okay, what else?
Transparency and accountability.
Okay,
Consumers want more from companies these days.
they do.
Temu needs to be open, address concerns, and build trust.
So it sounds like their success isn't just about marketing or low prices.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about building a sustainable and ethical business that people connect with.
Exactly. It's not just selling stuff. It's creating a brand that people believe in.
Well, we've covered a lot today, their rise, their model, the challenges ahead.
A lot.
But before we wrap up, there's one more thing we should touch on.
What's that?
The bigger picture. How Temu's arrival is impacting the whole e-commerce landscape.
Yeah, because it's not just about them competing with other retailers.
It's about changing the whole game.
It really is.
So let's zoom out and think about those broader implications.
Yeah, that's important.
What are we seeing? What are the ripple effects of Temu's arrival? We were talking about Temu's ripple effect, how they're changing the whole e-commerce game.
Yeah, they're not just another player, they're changing the rules.
Exactly. It's bigger than just competing with Amazon.
Right. One of the biggest impacts is on the competition.
Okay.
Temu's pricing, it's forcing everyone to rethink things.
Even the giants like Walmart and Amazon.
Even those guys.
Wow.
They have to figure out new ways to attract customers.
Because Temu is setting a new bar for what we expect.
Exactly. A new standard of value.
And that kind of shakeup can be good, right?
Yeah, it can be.
It forces everyone to get better, to innovate.
Exactly. And that's good for consumers.
Better prices, faster shipping.
Maybe even totally new features and services.
It's like a race to the top.
Yeah, from our perspective at least.
But what about those smaller retailers? Can they survive?
That's a good question.
Can they keep up?
It's going to be tough. Temu's size gives them a big advantage.
Right.
Those smaller companies might have to specialize.
Okay.
Focus on niche markets, things Temu doesn't do.
So it's not just about being cheap anymore.
No.
It's about having something unique, something special.
Exactly, something that sets you apart.
And this leads to another big change Temu's brought.
Data.
Data.
Yeah.
We talked about how they use it, but this is bigger than Temu.
It is. It's industry-wide now.
It seems like every online retailer is trying to figure out data.
They have to understand customers, tailor their offerings.
It's becoming essential.
It really is. But as these algorithms get more powerful,
Right.
we have to be careful.
The data?
Data privacy, algorithmic bias.
Because just because an algorithm says something is trending
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's the best choice.
Or the most ethical.
Exactly.
We have to think critically, not just blindly trust these systems.
So we need to educate ourselves about these algorithms.
Absolutely. Understand how they work
What data they use.
and how they might be shaping our choices.
Even when we don't realize it.
It's about developing a healthy skepticism.
And that skepticism should apply to the products we buy.
Yeah, for sure.
Temu and those low prices, they've highlighted something.
What's that?
The hidden costs, the complexities of those global supply chains,
It's forcing us to confront where our stuff comes from.
and how it's made.
Exactly.
And it's making people demand more from companies.
More transparency, more accountability.
They want ethical products, sustainability, fair labor.
It's a growing movement.
So maybe Temu's success is pushing things in the right direction.
It's possible.
The more people care about these values,
All right.
the more pressure there is on companies to change.
Including Temu.
It could lead to better sourcing, more transparency, a more conscious way of shopping.
It could.
So even if Temu isn't around in 10 years,
Yeah.
they might have changed how we shop forever.
I think that's a really good point.
And it shows how unpredictable this all is.
Disruption can have unexpected consequences.
Yeah, sometimes the biggest impact isn't about the product or the profit.
It's about the changes they inspire.
It's like Temu is sparking a bigger conversation about the future of e-commerce.
A conversation that's just getting started.
We've covered a lot of ground today, their strategies, their challenges, the implications of it
Well,
all.
it's been a good discussion.
But Temu's story is still unfolding.
It is.
Will they keep growing at this pace?
Right.
Will they address the ethical concerns? How will they adapt as e-commerce evolves?
Those are the big questions.
Big questions with no easy answers.
But one thing's for sure, Temu has changed things.
The e-commerce world will never be the same.
That's for sure.
So to everyone listening, stay curious, keep asking questions, make informed choices about how you shop.
Because we have a voice.
We do?
And by supporting companies that share our values.
We can help shape a better marketplace.
For everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Temu.
It's been a fascinating one.
It has, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for this disruptive force in e-commerce.
Until next time, keep diving deep.